Wow. Nice. A cool way to enter episode 96 of Hat Chat with your hosts, Chris Trott,
Ross Hornby,
and Alex Smith. That's my voice.
And because we have such a real serious Fingal sent by...
Does it sound strange? Go on, Trott. Who's the Fingal by?
Because we had such
Sorry about that, mate.
Because we had such an intense Fingal by Thomas. Thank you, Thomas, for sending in that Fingal to our email. hatchat@films.com. I'll start off with some somber news about my fish in my pond.
Oh, not the fish.
You know, have you fucking killed them?
I didn't kill them.
You did kill them. You killed them through a mission.
Did you spear hook them? Did you grab them?
That's a wild assumption on Smith's part here.
What did you do? How did they die? How did they die?
They've been fine up till this point, and we've been keeping them alive. And turns out of like a family of foxes got in and got all of them bar one. There's just a little small one left.
How many were there? Do you know?
That's a very
7.
Are you sure it was a fox? How did you know it was a fox?
We heard a lot of foxes last night, kind of squealing and making noises in our garden, and we're like, they do that a lot. Fair enough. But this time they got them and they're gone. So,
well, I guess if anything's going to happen to them, that's kind of like, you know, at least
nature.
Contribute to some form of life cycle. Yeah,
in a way,
instead of, you know, a kill shelter for fish.
It's ironic that I had fish and chips last night.
Well, if you'd had it a day later, it could have been my fish. They could have found something.
That's weird.
I think you'd be pretty miffed if somebody was serving you pond fish.
What if they trained the foxes to go get fish from ponds, deliver them to the fish and chip shop, and then they use that to serve to customers?
There'd be an elaborate way around it, but I guess you wouldn't have to pay the foxes, which is, you know, cost saving. Would you have to pay the foxes?
In fish, they get to take, like, as a percentage.
Yeah. How do you explain to them percentages?
It's a really
struggle. No, 40%. 40.
40.
You've bitten off 50 there.
That's it. That's enough.
So you just let them eat until at a certain point you start screaming.
Stop. But yeah, it's unfortunate news about my fish. So hopefully we can lighten things up with our Patreon chosen.
I'm not done with the fish.
Okay.
I'm not done with the fish. What kind of fish were they? Were they koi carp?
I'm pretty sure they were just goldfish. I suspected for a while they might be koi carp, but I think they were just goldfish that have been left to get big. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, they had a good life, long life, if they got that big. And now they're in the belly of a very happy fox.
Yeah. I mean, they were left by the previous owner. I had to take care of them unwillingly.
Did they leave any skeletons? The fish?
There was a couple strewn in our garden. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I knew that they pulled them out. And
did they eat the face?
It wasn't like a bird or anything, for example.
Did they eat the eyes, Trott?
Yeah, I mean, it was all pretty much gone.
Rough.
Pretty gross. Anyway. Are you happy with the fish? Okay,
I'm done with the fish.
I mean, are you in a way kind of relieved? That's one less thing to worry about.
Pay money to feed, yeah.
And also, it's a circle of life. So it fed another creature, which was hungry
in a way,
and desperate for food.
There's a level of guilt where I felt like maybe we could have protected them a bit more, but at the same time, they're smart little buggers, aren't they? Foxes.
Yeah, you always need a gunfish. They're one fish that stays awake with a gun, that kind of like protects the rest, and you clearly didn't arm them.
The only thing that stops a bad fox with a gun is a good fish with a gun.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, circle life-wise,
focus on the one.
If Mochi does look, you know, when she's getting on and stuff, hopefully in a long time, Dorito will probably still be around, so we can feed it to Dorito if you want to get that circle of life thing going.
Jeez, really? See, that's one thing I'd be concerned if Murphy would grab him out there, but I don't think he would.
Well, then Murphy could eat Dorito, and then
we'll get a real
he's the equivalent of like a turducken, but it's a dodragon. Is what it would be. A dog inside a dragon.
Dorito eats insects and stuff like that.
She's everything. She's anything you give us, really. I mean, that's not the case. Obviously, don't give her anything, but They're omnivorous.
Chocolate? Will they eat
So
chocolate?
they'll eat anything. They're like the seagulls of the ground. Imagine that, right? They're Australia's take on land-based seagulls.
Very durable, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll think about it, Smith. How about that? I can't give you a definitive.
Terrible butt plug, a bearded dragon, because they've got all of their scales face a certain way.
Yeah, once they go up, they're not coming out.
When they go into holes, they can't be pulled out.
Right.
Like an arrowhead.
Yeah,
Right.
so I would just say stay away from those ideas.
If you're thinking about getting a bearded dragon for that reason alone, then think again.
Yeah, or even that reason and other reasons, really, because
Well, that would be the top one, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. You need a very thick rubber, very thick.
What's the strangest thing they eat beyond obviously bugs and grubs, like human food wise?
Dogs, by the sounds of it.
Oh,
They'll eat. I mean, I don't. The things I feed her are obviously all safe for the reptiles, right? I do care about what I feed them. But they are. Yeah, I mainly feed her Pringles, Nutella,
pancakes,
and the occasional orange tango. Just to top up the orange. Sometimes we have orange night where I feed her Watsits, orange tango, and taffy.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, and like hot chili knickknacks.
Don't feed your animals this.
No, don't do that.
It's a funny idea though.
Have you ever fed a Dorito to a Dorito?
If only. No, she can't. I mean, she might be able to eat corn. I don't think she would be able to eat
quite hard,
whatever the hell they cover the chips in. It's all the all the flavoring and stuff like that.
So they could crunch down on like those shards of tortilla.
I mean, they can eat beetles whole. They can crunch through thick
shells. Yeah, jeez.
Thick, all sorts of things. They eat bloody cockroaches whole. But yeah, they're little monsters. They'll eat everything really. But you mainly want to keep it to bugs, kale, the occasional bit of fruit. They like fruit sometimes. Loves a blueberry. Loves a raspberry.
Yeah.
Right. But they'll rot their teeth. Yeah.
Do you have like a camera on Dorito at night? Do you know if you do?
I've got a camera on all of the reptiles, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm just saying.
It's like a movable one. It's like a little like pivoting one.
If they got a taste for goldfish, and Dorito mysteriously goes missing last night, for example, and now this morning all my fish are gone, I'm just thinking, I'm just trying to piece some things together here.
Wow, there was a bearded dragon-sized disposed parachute when I got outside as well. I was like, who left this small parachute here?
I could parrot in. What's that?
It's like the film Cats and Dogs, all right, but not that cheesy. Remember that film where the cats and dogs are like technologically advanced?
Yeah,
it's spying on each other.
Beagle's one of the main characters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I do remember that one. Yeah,
I don't remember that one.
They're always so sassy. The cats.
Imagine Homeward Bound meets Spy Kids, and you've got cats and dogs.
Okay. But their lips move. They didn't move in Homeward Bound, do they?
No.
And that makes sense to me.
I prefer that. I hate the whole mannequin mouth thing.
Yeah. Well, there was that one film with Billy Connolly where it had a little voice box.
Yes, and that's up.
Even though his lips weren't moving, it had the little voice box, and that's what it meant. It was talking through that.
Wait, that's not up.
I like that.
Though there is a voice box dog in that too.
Yeah, they put a collar on them, which helps them talk.
It's very basic command.
That's smart.
I like that. Yeah.
There's also the one in Rick and Morty as well. Summer.
Of course, yeah. Talking dogs.
Balls.
You can't get enough of them. I keep trying to get Murphy to talk. It's not happening. It's not working. Come on, buddy. Just say something. Say what you think.
Here. I don't want to live here.
It would just be hungry, tired.
Yeah.
It's very basic.
Shit.
It would be like the one up.
Point. Right. Talking of shit and piss, let's move on to our Patreon supporters who have chosen the best hypothetical of the week, and it's almost unanimous this time, which is interesting to see. I'd say that 70% of people chose this one over the others, which suggests to me the other two were pretty shit in comparison. So here we go. You ready? Mm-hmm. Get your thinking boxes on, everybody. Okay, everyone?
Oh God. Okay.
Tighten up your thinky box and immerse yourself in your imaginary land. And here we go. If you could immediately solve any unsolved mysteries. Okay, Smith's really deep in his think
yeah,
box. He really went into his think
On a
box
journey
there.
there, yeah.
Christ.
I was in a car crash. I was imagining I was in a car crash.
Okay, you got to be careful with the thinky box.
Sorry, start again.
You need some safety precautions in there.
Yeah.
If you could immediately solve any unsolved mysteries in history, what mystery could you choose to solve? And why?
There's whole podcasts about this.
I know.
Long-running podcasts.
But we could dip our toe in.
You
could go with the classics, like pyramids, Stonehenge, Bermuda Triangle.
Stonehenge is. I mean, I just wonder what you do really achieve, because you almost want to kind of get a result out of it, right?
Stonehenge is not a mystery, by the way.
Yeah, but like, I'd like to see how they did it. I'd like to watch how they did it.
They know they did it. They dragged them on logs. They dragged
really
giant stones from Wales.
Yeah, but it's really far. Like really far.
It is. It's a great human endeavor, and it's an amazing structure. But it's not necessarily.
How many people died doing it is what I want to know. And like, did a generation pass by the time they got from Wales to England?
Are we assuming the resurrection story is true, or?
Yeah, that one's that's a no-brainer
I'd like to know
there.
How that happened? If
I want to be there in that cave with the rock opening, and him coming out.
Watching him. His eyes opening.
Go on,
his
come
eyes
out.
opening. Oh mate, open your eyes.
Go on.
God, do I have to be outside? Do I have to close my eyes?
I think we're all imagining like,
is this real?
We physically go there, where we witness it. That's why I'm like, I'd like to see the Stonehenge one. I wouldn't like to see the pyramids as much, because that involves a ton of slavery and forced labor, and probably a lot of whipping and death, right?
Yeah.
Or
and
aliens. That's the other one. It could just be aliens.
Is the big one.
Just dropping that in.
The biggest mystery is the beginning of our existence. Is that too deep? I mean, it's just like, I'd like to know how it all began legitimately. Obviously, there's theories
for the first branch. The start of existence, or like the evolution from Neanderthal to Homo sapien. Okay, you just want to be out there in the vastness of nothing space, watching a massive explosion bigger than anything in existence.
If that's what happened,
man,
I want to see what's going on.
You're gonna have to have some really good camera control to like constantly move backwards, because that's gonna be insane. You're gonna be overwhelmed. It's a good one, though.
That's like the biggest mystery, right? Is it like, our existence, or the meaning of life in general? That provides a meaning.
That's an unsolved mystery. Technically, you could say that. You want to start
consciousness, human consciousness.
Why? Why do we have it?
Why do we have it?
Solve it.
Why am I saying words right now? Why am I thinking? Am I thinking?
I went a bit more granular. I did a little look on some unsolved mysteries in history that might be interesting to you.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the body on Somerton Beach in Australia? Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't heard about this. No.
So you heard about the body?
So there, in December 1948, there was a body found on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. The body was a man who was dressed impeccably in a suit with polished shoes, and his head was slumped against a wall. Authorities thought the case of death was heart failure, or more likely poisoning. However, during the autopsy, there was no trace of poison to be found. There wasn't a wallet or any type of identification on the man, and all the tags in his clothing were cut out. The fingerprints the authorities took were unidentifiable. They even put a photo of the body in the newspapers, and still no one could identify who he was. 4 months later, after the body was found, detectives found a hidden pocket that was sewn on the inside of his trousers, and inside the pocket was a rolled up piece of paper from a rare book called the Rubaiyat, or something like that.
Right.
The piece of paper had the words Taman Shud, which means it has ended. After months of looking for the exact book, authorities decided to bury the Somerton man without description and identification, although a cast was taken of the bust of his head and embalmed to preserve him, weirdly, because it's such a weird mystery. 8 months later, after that, a man walks into the police station, claims that just after the body was found, he found a copy of the Rubaiyat book in the back of his car that he kept parked near Somerton Beach where the body was found. He thought nothing of it until he read about the search in the newspaper article. Sure enough, the book had a part of the final page that was torn out and matched the piece of paper that was sewn into the trouser leg. And inside the book was a phone number and some sort of strange code. So it goes deeper. The phone number led to authorities to a woman named Jessica Thompson who lived nearby. During the interview, she was very evasive and even claimed she was going to faint when she saw the bust of a Somerton man, but denied knowing him. However, she said that she did sell the book to a man named Alfred Boxall. Unfortunately, Alfred Boxall was still very much alive at the time and still had a copy of the Rubaiyat, and that Jessica sold to him, so it wasn't him. The code that was found ended up being even more unhelpful as of today. It's not been cracked, so no one knows what the hell that is. Wow. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Jeez,
that is very interesting.
It is interesting, but like, so they've never found that who killed him, or was it a killing? You say?
He was just slumped found the body? Dead on a beach, fully dressed, fully clothed, impeccable, shoes polished, and it just looked like he just like died like that. And then he just had nothing on him, no tags. All his clothing tags were torn out.
Bizarre.
And no one ID'd him at all.
You couldn't.
How long ago was this?
1948.
1948. Okay. Wow.
So obviously the technology is limited, and they couldn't do DNA.
Yeah. There's mostly quite a lot of mysteries around similar topics, right?
Where there's one that's an interesting heist, or like, I don't know if you want to me to read that one as well, but that was interesting.
Yeah, go for
it. Go on. Yeah.
Strange.
We're not going to solve the other one. I don't think no one else has. So.
No, we're not planning on solving that one today, but maybe in the future.
No.
This is the disappearance of D.B. Cooper. Have you heard of that one? No. 1971. November 24th. A man identified as Daniel Cooper bought a $20 one-way ticket to Northwest Airlines on Flight 305 from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. Cooper was described as being in his mid-40s, wearing a business suit, another suit guy, overcoat, brown shoes, white shirt, and a black tie. He also carried a briefcase, and he sewed a piece of book into his inner... no, he did do that.
It's the link.
There was no link.
Before the flight what the fuck are these guys sewing shit in their trousers?
So... Before the flight took off, he ordered a bourbon and soda from a flight attendant, and after the plane was airborne, Cooper handed the flight attendant a note. At first, she put it in her pocket without looking at it, but then Cooper told Miss, "You better look at that note. I have a bomb." And then he told her that the bomb was in the briefcase and asked her to sit next to him. He opened the briefcase to reveal red-colored sticks surrounded by an array of wires. Cooper then told the flight attendant to write down everything he was saying and then take it to the captain. In the note, it said, "I want $200,000 by 5 p.m. in cash, exclusively in $20 bills, put in a knapsack. I want 2 back parachutes and 2 front parachutes. When we land, I want a fuel truck ready to refuel. No funny stuff, or I'll do the job." FBI agents assembled the ransom money from several Seattle area banks, and Seattle police obtained the parachutes from a local skydiving school. When Cooper claimed his demands were met, he allowed all passengers and some of the crew to exit the plane. Cooper told the remaining crew to refuel the plane and chart a course for Mexico City while staying below 10,000 feet. During the flight, Cooper put on a pair of dark wraparound sunglasses, which would make it into the official sketch and has become famous with anyone investigating the case. A little after 8 p.m., somewhere in between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, Cooper jumped out the rear door of the plane with 2 parachutes and the money. He was never seen again.
Huh. Really? And that worked?
Despite an expansive manhunt and over 45 years of searching, no conclusions have been made to the man's identity or his fate after he jumped. Apparently, it's one of the greatest cold cases in FBI and U.S. history.
That's pretty impressive. So, I mean, have there been any copycats of that? Feels like a kind of a
sounds like something that you do for a Hollywood movie.
Like, yeah, but like, I mean, I don't know. There must be a way around it in some way. But then I guess if they've got their finger on the trigger, like, you know, it could go off at any point, right? I'm guessing when they landed, they didn't let any people off, right?
They let people. I think so.
As in when they went back up in the air, people were still on the plane.
I think the crew, like a skeleton crew, perhaps.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
These wraparound sunglasses.
Yeah.
Like, were they just normal sunglasses?
I think they were just a specific style that ended up being the only sketch we have of D.B. Cooper, and that's what got popular. Right. And that's what people know him to look as, the wraparounds. I don't know what kind they are.
1971.
Apparently, the FBI's best guess is that Cooper did not survive the jump for several reasons. The rainy and dangerous conditions for skydiving on the night of the hijacking.
Right.
So it was raining and dark when he jumped out the side of. Also, he jumped out the side of a 727. It's not exactly like a regular sky. I mean, they'd have to open a pressurized door and all sorts of shit.
Well, they said 10,000 feet. Yeah, but
I know, but still, it's like not ideal to operate one of those doors. And then what do they say? Dangerous for skydiving, Cooper's lack of proper equipment, the landing area being a wilderness, the apparent lack of detailed knowledge Cooper had of his landing area, and the rest of the ransom money never turning up after decades, suggesting it was never spent. So they reckon he just died.
So there was no trace of spending.
Eaten by bears?
Apparently there was a slew of copycats the following year as well. People trying to hijack them. Yeah.
You see, it seems like a plan that could work out if you're just crazy enough to try and pull it off.
And they gave him the money. Wow. Easy. But yeah, it sounds like DB Cooper met an unfortunate end in the wilderness.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mystery.
I say unfortunate. He threatened people with a bomb and got money for it.
That's terrorism.
So that is full-blown terrorism.
Pure terrorism.
So maybe
and you'd think that after something like that, they would have made it stricter, but I don't think it was really strict until after 2001.
I guess it's one of those things that if you bring attention to it, which they might have done at the time, you get the copycat problem, which, like Smith says, there was a huge surge of it next year. So maybe they did talk about it a lot, and it was in breaking news all the time.
Yeah, maybe.
So there you go.
They never found him. That's pretty nuts. Are there any main theories, other than just died or bad landing?
Apparently, someone said that they found some notes of money, which suggests that the whole thing crashed and exploded somewhere.
But there are a group of like QAnon believers like waiting where he landed to see if he just falls out of the sky one day.
Yeah,
maybe they're camping out. They're like, Michael Jackson will be with him.
They probably think that was Donald
JFK
Trump.
Jr. will be with him as well. They'll all be flying down anytime now, guys.
This is it. The same date that he jumped out of that plane 40 years later, he will be here.
They're always checking.
Or 50
that's
years.
Nuts. Yeah, that's
it's a cool one. I like strange mysteries. Maybe we should make an entire podcast on these kind of things. That sounds like a good idea.
And we can always just do a section. We can always have a little section.
Mysteries.
Our little brains desperately try and grapple with the unknown. I mean, I'm just having to read everything, so it's sort of quite I'm not reacting to it as much. There's a lot.
Wikipedia, there's actually quite a lot of information here. So if you want to read about it, DB Cooper is what you need to put in. But yeah, that's
very cool.
I'm baffled by it.
I'd find out if there were aliens.
You would find out if there are aliens. Yeah.
I think there are. I think a better question would be how far away is the next form of sentient life outside of Earth? I think that would be my question as a mystery of the universe. I think that the size of the universe and the number of planets.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's unreasonable.
I don't think it's unreasonable that there's life. I think it's more just that. I mean, it's like to say if two galaxies like collided into each other, it's actually very unlikely that your planets would hit because everything's still so far away.
So much space. Yeah. Which is what Andromeda and the Milky Way is going to do eventually.
Yeah.
Which is cute. These
although
guys
it will
have been
probably
teasing
mess
each other
up
so long.
Orbits.
It's so
I
cute.
imagine, right? It would mess up.
Yeah, I think
it
would. I can't remember actually.
Knock us off our axis.
Yeah, and I think it would speed up the spread of all the planets from each other and probably entirely disrupt our solar system, and we'd all die
if we don't already die before then.
I think the sun is going to absorb our planets way before then, anyway.
Yeah.
So there's always that to
look
forward to.
It's the true killer. Why aren't they doing documentaries about that? They probably are.
Do you think they make Mars bars and Snickers like they make sausages? So you got the chocolate outer casing, and then they just fill the inside like a sausage.
I really don't think that's true.
That would be really. I can imagine that being
an unsolved mystery
hard process to do. I'd like to see someone try and do that.
Where did that come from?
Because it would be really easy to obviously you make the nougat in the middle, make a bar of that, and then obviously they coat them in chocolate, right? But like to do it the other way around, that's a challenge.
I just can't see where where your brain went there.
Well, somebody put in chat, like people are putting in chat their things they would ask, and somebody said I'd ask how they'd get the caramel inside the Snickers bar, and then I thought about it beyond the way I know that they do it, which is layering and then covering in chocolate, and I thought, I guess you could take the outside of a Snickers, like around some form of tube and then just fire perfectly layered contents inside.
Yeah.
And then
Inject.
there's like a chink that
Power
just cuts
injection.
Sausages,
cuts that. It's like making sausages.
Let's
like
just assume it goes that way.
Stuffing a Billy Bear at one of those bears at those bear making places. Have you seen when they fill soft toys with fluff?
It's terrifying. Yeah. I wouldn't want to watch that as a kid. Like you take the head off and then just like.
How often do you think they come in and find people using the machine sexually?
Which one? The sausage machine or the Build-A-Bear?
Well, that blows fluff out. I don't know why.
The fluff fillers, both.
You want fluff filled in your ass or something?
I mean, it's gonna have to have happened. Somebody's gonna have tried to put that thing up their ass.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
It's gonna have to have happened.
Unsolved mystery.
How big is it?
That's Smith's one. He wants to know.
Unsolved mystery is anyone use one of those fluff-filling pipes? Because think about it, they exist in all sorts. Not necessarily from Build-A-Bear, from like any toy manufacturing plant.
Oh, if it's in a factory or something.
Yeah, if any.
Not in like a retail store, maybe it's more likely.
Yeah.
Just couple people just having fun. Just having fun. It's like after hours. We're working overtime here. We may as well have fun with that pipe.
Stuffed.
Get bored,
guys.
Let's get stuffed.
Let's stuff ourselves.
You know how they used to use like there's several forms of names for it, like remote viewing or clairvoyance, or like all these. You know the concept of remote viewing that the US government was trying to get people to do when they were giving them loads of drugs, MK Ultra, things like that.
Yeah. MK Ultra.
They were trying to see things using psychological powers rather than technology.
It's the many codes thing.
If you can imagine the situations that you haven't necessarily thought of existing but do actually exist, that's a form of clairvoyance, right? As in, if you imagine it. This is more of a joke than me trying to convince you of this. As in, like, you can see the future almost. Like, if you suddenly have an idea where you're like, I bet somebody has taken one of those Bernard Matthews roll-up sausages and shoved that out their ass. Until that moment, you've never experienced. But because of the number of people out there, infinite monkeys, infinite typewriters. If you've got the monkeys in your brain, they will do the thinking for you.
You've technically witnessed it.
You've technically seen it. I can't make out their face. My powers aren't that strong, but I can imagine.
But if you honed it in and maybe took some drugs, you probably could, though.
Maybe I should.
I mean, it does feel like most things have probably been tried at least once in terms of
so you can remote view it just like that, Ross.
Yeah, that's in a way.
So you're saying like MK Ultra is a bit of a YOLO moment. You only live once. Try everything once.
MK Ultra was not a YOLO moment. MK Ultra was seriously strong hallucinogenic drugs brainwashing people into becoming non-people.
YOLO!
But we got Stranger Things out of it, so that's good.
Well, what's Murphy's Law again? Is it if it can?
I don't know. Ask your dog.
It will happen.
It will happen. So I mean, sausages can go up your ass in a bizarre fashion. It will happen. Doesn't necessarily happen to you.
Can go wrong, it will. It's more negative spin.
Okay. All right.
So it's.
I always mix up Murphy's Law with the one where every year silicon chips get half the size or smaller.
That's changed.
Moore's Law.
Moore's Law and Murphy's Law. I always get confused with the two.
Have you guys heard about Cole's Law?
Yeah, I had it last night. Thank you.
What were you going to say, Ross?
Isn't Moore's Law like it's proven to be wrong?
The end of it.
They're struggling to actually make things even smaller until I guess.
There's new
I feel
technologies.
like it should less be called Moore's Law and just Moore's observation, because at the time they were saying things are doubling in power every year or whatever. Go on, Trott.
I think there's a more like meta level of Moore's Law going on now, where there's optimizations of, rather than the physical product, it's more the software layer on top of that that's optimizing the silicon that's there and still improving performance technically by 100%.
Okay.
Which, like DLSS, for example, on NVIDIA technology, where you do half the processing and upscale it, and it looks as good as, you're gaining frames on the same hardware. That kind of thing.
I feel like elements of technological progress haul each other along, right?
Yeah.
So like when one area of that progress is starting to lose steam, another one will like think about, right, how can we exploit the potential here and haul them along? Sort of like a many tendrilled blob.
Yeah. I mean, how much of that progress has been hindered by profits, perhaps, or like extending the life
driven
of things
by it?
So they push things further and be like, well, we can make this last longer, and
Yeah.
But then our scientists
then you got
researching it anyway, so it just does exist. It's
Yeah.
just a case it's not being passed down to consumer level.
Yeah, exactly. It depends at the consumer level. That definitely happens. I think
Apple
once in a
sit
while.
on tech as well. They do planned obsolescence.
They wait until Samsung releases it,
and they do like such minor iterations on stuff, but it's just enough to make you want the next one. And they package it nicely, but ultimately they probably have technology they could release now that's like revolutionary, but they're staggering it over a period of a decade because they know they can profit more.
Well, they make previous models obsolete, right?
Planned
so like, is it iPhone 6 Plus is now going to be considered obsolete? So they're going kind of.
I don't know.
That's just they don't do software updates.
I don't know if that's
right?
it might just be
software
updates. So we'll hit a point. I think my old MacBook is currently hit a point where it won't receive any updates anymore. Just the hardware can't handle it. I know that bloody laptop.
2011.
2011. Yeah, 2011. It recorded all of our audio, including this Hat Chat audio, up
Still
to
going.
2019.
Amazing.
I think it died in 2019. So it had a good.
It was a workhorse as well.
Is quite a low bar though.
It really is a low bar. But I used it to edit and stuff. That was literally the first machine
back in the day
we recorded Minecraft on.
Yeah.
So
you had that big 17-inch screen, which at the time was like really nice.
It was amazing.
Really usable.
So it's a legacy Hat Films item.
It certainly is.
And you can buy it in our next auction.
Next auction, with all the files on it.
Oh God, yeah.
That'd be a bad idea. Do you want another hypothetical? Do you want to move on? Because I know you've got some news.
Got a load of funny
news. There's loads of
right?
news actually, and we have to catch up on last week.
That's true.
Which, if you did listen to last week's, there was a story about.
We've got an update for you.
who decided to do a special stunt in the air where they were going to swap planes midair. So they were going to jump out of their plane, parachute, and then land into the other plane, and then fly it back down and land it.
Yeah, how did that go, Ross?
Well, there has been an update. And it happened at the weekend, so they attempted it. And one of them was successful. Now,
one of them got into the other one's plane.
One of them managed to actually achieve it, which is still an extremely good achievement. No one died. That's important. I will highlight no one died. However, one of the planes...
Wait, they didn't start in the plane?
Did they get into the planes first? There's a video playing which shows them parachuting first.
They jumped out of a main aircraft with a bunch of cameramen, which is understandable.
I don't know if they had
through the air.
I don't know if that clip is clip from a practice or is that from the actual thing?
I think that might be
the actual thing. Basically, you can see two planes kind of nose diving down as these two cousins decide to jump out and land in them. Now, one of them managed to get into it and land it fine. The other one, the plane veered out of control as he left the plane, and it spanned too much, and they couldn't get back into it, and it crashed
into the ground.
And apparently, on the Red Bull report, they cut away and claimed it landed fine. But then there's an actual visual shot of it just nosedived, like just crumpled into the ground. They lied, yeah.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that video that we were describing wasn't actually the correct video. So
if you click on the link below, that's the updated one on the Reddit story.
So one of them got in, but the other one couldn't get in because the aircraft was spinning too much.
Yeah, it was basically, it went out of control, so they couldn't get back into it. But no one died. They got the
Federal Aviation Authority now because of that crash, and that's probably why they cut away, because they didn't want people to know that they were recklessly crashing aircraft into America.
Yeah, but so impressive stunt, and I think it's amazing that even one of them managed to do it. If you are watching the podcast, you can see it happen now. But,
it's just nose diving and spinning.
Spins really far out of control.
Kind of on its back as well. It's folding like a falling leaf.
Yeah.
Lazily floating down like a conker leaf. You know those ones? Less spinning though. And then it just crashes into the ground.
Such a shame.
But when you're watching that there,
it had an emergency.
So basically, the chute came out too late, which is why it landed the way it landed.
That's annoying.
So yeah, that's unfortunate. But still, one managed to do it, one didn't. No one died.
50%
pretty successful,
win.
I would say.
In terms of like Hat Films cursing things, that's a bit more tame. Thankfully, no one died.
I'd like to say we're not responsible for any deaths.
No,
we know that's normally because we mentioned someone really old.
But this time it was like two Red Bull stunt plane pilots that that could have, but didn't, thankfully.
Exactly.
Cool.
So yeah, a success in many ways, really. So that's good.
Apparently the
no
FDA, or FAA, sorry, are really fucking pissed at Red Bull because of the stunt.
For dropping a plane out of the sky? Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
It doesn't look good, does it?
No.
But you'd think that they would be aware of what was going on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's how many M&Ms? This is a very, very quick story, this one.
Yeah.
How many M&Ms do you think you could stack on top?
Which type? Because there's different types of M&Ms, like
so
the
not
basic.
The peanut, just the basic chocolate M&M.
Just chocolate M&Ms.
So you put it on a table, stacking one after the other. Obviously, they've got a rounded surface.
Am I allowed to like warm them up a tiny bit in my fingers?
I don't think so, no.
Because I feel like when the colour, the shell gets sticky, right?
It can
be. In that case, I'd say like 10. But if I can't do that, I'd say no more than about 4.
You have to use cold tweezers to stack them.
Yeah, well, in fact, there is a world record for this. And this gentleman managed to get it up to 7.
7 M&Ms.
Stacked on top. Yeah, and there is a video of it as well. But the previous record was 6, of course. And he managed to get 1 more. He's got little rubber thimbles on his fingers, which he's like gently placing them as he puts them on.
Oh my god!
But I saw that and I thought that's quite interesting. It's such a imagine, like, surely you can make up any world record. I just would never even dream that that's a thing. But there you go.
Dude has steady hands. I'll give him that.
Yeah, the little sign at the end, little gang sign.
Yes. And then someone next to him just eating M&Ms. Stop!
Yeah,
eating M&Ms. Like,
I wonder if he. I don't. In the video, he doesn't look like he tries to go for 8.
I feel like you could have gone for 8.
I feel like he managed to get quite a stable 7.
Yeah, that looks easy.
It looks easy. I imagine if we tried to do it, and maybe we should try to do it in a slog or something sometime.
Yeah, let's try and recreate this. I want to get the little.
Yeah, but we do need the little mitts for our little
old pair of gloves. Maybe would just cut the.
Yeah. But
I love how the rest of his hand doesn't need them. It's just.
I want to know how much training is involved in this. Like, how long was he doing it for a long time? Or he goes, oh, that looks cool, I'll try it now. And then there we go, that's the record.
He makes it look effortless.
The guy on the right then really looked like he enjoyed snapping that M&M into his mouth. I don't know if you saw that right there. It's like
just smashing them in there, yeah.
Throwing them back there. There's choking hazard, isn't it? Really. Be careful.
Yeah, aggressively eating peanuts.
You want to see it again?
We'll try it sometime and see how far we can get on the slog.
On the right.
Someone remind me.
It also annoys me that he went for no color consistency there. It's all just randomly a red one.
Oh, I reckon they're maybe sorting them to make them most flat as well. That's why they've got so many. Ready? Here he goes. Guy chucking them and really snacking it in. Ready? One more and I don't even care.
Oh yeah.
I'm just fuck it. I just need something to put in my mouth. I'm not even
throwing them in there.
M&M, was that an M&M? Nope, nut and bolt. Oh, ow.
What's that doing on the table?
Years perfecting that. All about balance, I think.
And we're going to beat that on a slog.
We should try it, yeah. So someone remind us.
That's a pretty low bar, I'd say. Like, in terms of Guinness 7? World Records. Yeah, I feel like
it's a strange one.
It's not one of those things that's like it's not an endurance thing or anything like that. No. It's just kind of like boredom, really. It's like, I can't be asked anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like if he was taking it really seriously, he'd have some sort of like nose visor so that you wouldn't accidentally blow them over. Because he was like looking over the table. I feel like a small whiff of air could have blown over his little stack.
Maybe that's what stopped him. So, he was holding his breath the whole time, and that's the new.
He has to hold his breath. There's a caveat there. Well, here's another interesting product that I found. That Lucas, aka Good Com, sent us as well.
Thank you, Lucas.
And this is a product which says Tropicana creates cereal to be mixed specifically with orange juice.
No.
Now that sounds, Smith, your reaction there was literally mine as I read that. I was like, oh,
that's gross.
God, that sounds fucking disgusting. But it says they'll release a cereal specifically intended to mix with orange juice instead of milk in honor of National Orange Juice Day, which is, believe it or not, on May the 4th, which, in my opinion, isn't National Orange Juice Day.
That's blocked out. No, that's
blocked out. That's Star Wars Day. But whatever, they can try it if they want. So it's touted as the first ever breakfast cereal created to pair with Tropicana Pure Premium. Of course, other orange juices are available. I'm sure it's just an orange.
It's a big promo, isn't it?
I really want to try. I'm curious to try.
Well,
this product out. I don't know if it's
say
really
that
available in the UK.
The other day, I had granola and a smoothie of like mangoes and other fruits put together in a kind of cereal fashion, and then added a bit of soya milk to kind of make it more liquidy. So I felt like I was halfway there.
I feel like you're creating a product that could contend with the Tropicana one. So
I thought that was pretty nice, to be honest. So
I
can see it happening.
I feel like this is just a way for them to up people's orange juice consumption, right? They're just like, a glass of orange juice isn't enough. We want people to fucking drown their cereal in orange juice as well. You shouldn't be drinking this much orange juice.
No, I feel it's like a small glass, isn't it? The tumbler,
a small glass is enough for both the amount of vitamin C you could possibly absorb in a day, right? And it has tons of sugar in it, right?
Yeah. Especially when you really turn it to liquid.
It's not something you really need to pour all over cereal. Stupid. Tropicana should be ashamed of themselves.
So that's why I have pancakes with maple syrup in the mornings.
Nice. That
no oranges inside.
It'll taste better.
Wait, is that with the granola mango soya smoothie you're having?
Yeah, that's second breakfast, obviously.
Of course, my mistake.
At what point do you crack into the ostrich egg?
Of course.
Just before lunch. That's like a little brunch.
And you all day to eat it.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is a honey almond cereal, is what they're claiming it to be. So, yeah. I mean, if that comes, I don't think this is something that's in the UK. It might be in the UK, but I'm curious to try it again. Might be schlog worthy. I'll have a look. And see
we should do that. Just like, okay, we got some cereal, we got some Nesquik here, and we're gonna put some orange juice in it because it's Orange Day.
Oh, well, you just the Nesquik little rabbit poo drops with some orange juice. Okay,
yeah. Chocolate orange, guys. It's just chocolate orange.
Guys, I just googled whether or not you can buy ostrich eggs for eating, and you can.
Yeah. How much are they?
Well, there's one on eBay here.
eBay
in the UK. This is
where you always get your fresh produce.
I love getting fresh produce from eBay. Freshly laid, okay, so the description is freshly laid for 2022 laying season. Obviously, we all know the laying season. We've been keeping an eye on the laying season. Oh God, my God, stuttering here. The unpasteurized ostrich egg can be used in the same way as a chicken egg. An ostrich egg is equivalent to about 24 chickens. It makes an amazing surprise present. Keep it refrigerated and use it in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Please protect your eyes when opening it by cracking the shell, and we'd be happy to give you advice on options to get into it. The ostrich eggs cannot be returned.
Of course not.
Well, yeah, super hard shells. Right? Would you just use like a hand drill on like a low setting?
Wow. How do you get into a coconut?
Make a seam. I don't know. Do you
I drill into the top and then suck out from a tiny hole the innards.
Oh man, you could do such a cool. Imagine like a dinosaur-inspired breakfast, right? So, and in the middle of the table is these sort of marquee ostrich eggs, which you say are dinosaur eggs, and then you crack them open, and everyone's like dunking hunks of bread into these giant fucking soft-boiled ostrich eggs.
How big are they?
Something like that
are they like
massive?
Use my head as a kind of a barometer here for how big that is. So like, we're going smaller.
Hold on, let me check. It's a comparison.
Size of my fist, bigger than my fist.
It's going to be bigger than your fist. For sure.
It's probably about 2/3 the size of your head.
Wow,
it's big.
How much are they? Did you say?
50 quid from eBay. They might be cheaper elsewhere. But it is 24 eggs, Ross. That's only £2 an egg, which is still really expensive. But like,
what are we going to do all those eggs?
Not that
much. We should get
biggest omelette.
Full loaves of bread as like the soldiers we dip into the ostrich egg.
Yeah, we do giant breakfast.
And then huge knives and forks.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I mean, this could be a great birthday video idea for Trott. Chris Trott's tiny breakfast, where he's tiny and everything he eats is massive.
You've made me smaller.
I'm a small boy. Everything's oversized.
I'm really small.
But real. It's real.
And so, like you say, we're toasting whole loaves of bread for soldiers. Ostrich. Come on, Trott. Eat up. Oh, I'm so full. My tummy's so tiny.
My tummy's tiny, but I've got such big food to eat. All right. Well, it's an idea. Note it down. You might forget by next year.
Yeah.
Got to remember to buy an ostrich egg.
What's this story? This story is fairly brief. It's just it fascinated me a little bit.
Yep.
Here it is. Fictosexual man who married hologram says he can't communicate with her anymore. It says a Japanese man who married a fictional computer synthesized pop singer 4 years ago now says he can't communicate.
That's definitely
with her,
Hatsune Miku.
But still loves it. It is Hatsune Miku.
She's there
it said he hit a technical roadblock.
Capsule.
Yeah, with Hatsune Miku after the company that provides the artificial intelligence and hologram to communicate with her was no longer providing the service. Oh man, that's a shame. He's married something that's become obsolete.
There's also a product that's controlled by a company.
Yes, of course.
Where they can just pull the plug.
How legal is that wedding? It doesn't really explain anything here about.
There's a certificate, and he's got a little plushy Hatsune. Yeah,
that makes it
looks very official, very above board.
Who were the guests at the wedding?
I don't think many. I don't think many people turn up.
It was it was a digital crowd.
Probably
it's the first time I've heard the term fictosexual, which it says someone who is sexually attracted to fictional characters. He's shared details about his relationship with the world to promote the growing lifestyle.
Everyone's attracted to fictional characters.
All right, go on then. Which one? Which one are you attracted to?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was
Lola
16
Bunny.
years old.
True, there's a lot of fictional characters in that sense. Maybe, fictional characters is broad. Very broad.
So broad. Fictional characters is a person
Street Sharks
and feeling emotional connection to them. Street Sharks, Jack. I mean,
Pikachu.
I can understand that.
Pikachu.
Not Pikachu. Not Pikachu.
Pika.
All right, Pichu.
Togepi.
Like one of the only ones that's in a nappy. That's why.
Diglett.
Even though it's got a shell, why does it need a nappy and a shell?
It looks like a nappy because it's like a baby version of it.
Togepi.
Oh god, that actually really segues in well to this other story. Which I mean, I know we're rattling off these stories here. Some of them are very much just headline stories. Yeah,
we've deprived people.
We have. This story was interesting. It says, cops fired for ignoring robbery to catch Snorlax in Pokemon Go. And were denied a court review. So
is this peak Pokemon Go or not?
Jesus.
Sorry?
Was this at peak Pokemon Go craze?
I don't know when it was. This is an article which was released
2022.
on the 21st. So it's only
earlier this year.
It's recent.
I was under the impression that you guys played Pokemon Go every day.
Every day. So it was reported that the officers Louis Lozano and Eric Mitchell tried to catch a Snorlax. No, not pictured. No. Tried to catch a Snorlax in Pokemon Go, despite getting a radio call that the Macy's at Crenshaw Plaza was being robbed, and cops had requested backup.
It's a robbery.
I know. They claimed they never heard the request because it was loud, resulting in their vehicle's digital video system recording being reviewed. According to court documents, one of the officers alerted his partner that a Snorlax just popped up, and for 20 minutes the two discussed Pokemon while they drove to different locations to hunt the creatures on their phones. On the radio, the two even voiced struggles catching some of the critters, with one of them yelling, "Holy crap, man, this thing is fighting the crap out of me," before eventually catching a Togetic, whichever that one is. Is that related to Togepi?
It sounds like it is.
Yeah.
Togetic Pokemon.
After making the catch, they claimed that the other officers would be jealous of what they caught. Both officers admitted that they left their patrol to search for Snorlax and ended up being terminated in 2018. So it was older. So it must have been the height of Pokemon Go at the time.
Right.
So it takes that. God, man.
Holy shit. This
slow, aren't they?
Togetic is beating the crap out of me.
They're listening back.
That's a Togetic.
Oh, God.
Just a reference.
Oh, nice. You got a picture up. So it's like a.
Oh, it's such a shit. I really like Togepi.
I hated how it evolved into that monstrosity.
Yeah, same. Like, because Togepi felt like one of the first new Pokemon we saw outside of the originals. And you're like, oh, that's actually quite a nice design. Like, it's a nice little character. And no, they go for this weird fucking more modern style where they start
it becomes part of its egg. Yeah, it's messed up. Apparently, Togekiss is worse, which is like the evolution after that.
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to look this up. Sorry.
What does that look like? I mean, yeah. So we've got the shots. Yeah, we'll find the Pokemon's Togekiss.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Is it what? Oh, describe it for us.
So you got Togepi, right? Starts off as a little white egg with like blue and red triangles all over it. Very cute.
Okay.
Then it pops open, the top of it hatches, then you got Togepi's little head, and his arms break through as well. That's very cute. He's also cream coloured, I want to point out. The inside is like a different colour to the shell. He turns into Togetic, which is just, you merge the shell into its body, and it has a long neck and stupid little arms and legs. And then beyond that, it grows some goddamn wings. And its head, its neck goes nowhere. It just shrinks back in. It's got stupid little feet, and it's got wings.
About
what is it? Wings are terrible design.
Like a cloud,
like a
bird
little spiral.
creature.
It's awful.
It's like they only had cake shapes to make a character with. You know, yeah, weird.
Man, there you go. That's Pokemon
At least it's not a set of keys, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a candelabra,
or a pile of rubbish.
Rubbish.
Literally. A pile of
terrible. Well, how did they run out of ideas so quickly? There's so many like creatures you can base these things off. But, I mean, it's memorable. I mean, we remember.
I guess so. You're right. Yeah. So there's a novelty in how...
A candelabra, though. Who thought of that one?
On a side
I don't remember
note,
what that was called. God.
Pokemon. There's a game I really shat on, the Arceus game, which came out on Switch.
Did you?
I really shat on it when the trailers came out because the frame rate was awful. It looked like a really subpar Breath of the Wild ripoff, and it just looked really dull and devoid of life. It's actually a really good game. It's a really good game. I'm having a great time with it, so I take that back. It could definitely look better, but I really hope that's the direction they take with Pokemon, because the turn-based old formula is really tired, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if they could update it to the new one, that's cool. It's a good one. Anyway.
Nice. Okay. That's a recommendation for you.
Yeah. It's good.
There's a couple more stories to save for next time. That's a lot of stories already.
That was a lot, wasn't it?
No, there were some good ones.
Yeah.
Very bizarre ones. We'll try that orange juice mix.
I think we should. And also stacking
M&Ms. We have
and
to
an ostrich egg?
And an ostrich
egg.
The
ostrich egg, of course. I mean, I'm curious.
So you got to get hold of some of that cereal. We got to get hold of... I'm not going to get hold of an ostrich egg until we... I mean, does anyone actually want to eat an ostrich? The problem is, I'm fascinated by the idea. Yeah, I'm very curious.
Not for £50. I feel like we can find one somewhere else. But...
Are you an ostrich breeder? Get in touch with us. Also, I feel, is it a waste to
what egg? If we eat
whole ostrich egg, because they're such a giant creature, I can't imagine they make many of them.
Yeah, let's find out how often they lay eggs.
Because
chickens just shit them out, don't they?
Is this a suckling pig scenario where we don't realize how
know what we're getting
unethical
into
it is until afterwards?
What if we just try and make as many omelets as possible with one egg and see how far we go? Then we can eat the omelets.
That could be our next pancake day video.
Just don't make it a complete mess. Just literally make genuine omelets and see how far we can get. It's mostly going to be yolk, I imagine. No, not yolk. Egg whites.
Our next pancake day video has to be made out of an ostrich egg.
Eggs.
Sorry, I've just read how many ostrich eggs an ostrich can produce in a year.
How many?
Okay.
Under farm conditions, most seasoned ostriches can produce between 40 and 130 eggs a year.
Holy shit!
Wow.
That's insane. I don't feel so bad now. Although, what are the farming conditions?
I mean, they're pretty big birds. They're going to have to roam around. I've seen a few videos of people, and they tend to be a bit like any other normal farm.
From a good place, I guess.
Like the same size you'd have sheep in, or
That's so
cows,
much egg.
It's a lot of egg, yeah.
Also, the amount of calcium that goes into them must be nuts, because the shells are super thick, so they must have to be eating tons of calcium.
I imagine they're quite nutritional.
I mean, it's hard.
Like the protein in them.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen, guys. I feel like
you've tapped into.
I've tapped in.
Egg.
You get the power drills out to get into it, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be an interesting thing on its own. Maybe we can make a nice little hole and pour the contents out of it.
Maybe we can decorate the eggs before we break them. We have an egg decorating.
Yay.
This sounds like an Easter thing now.
This is an Easter.
It really does. It's a great idea for Easter.
It really is. This is 2023. We've got that sorted. That year's sorted.
The ostrich.
Just because of the ostrich.
The year of the ostrich. Okay, cool. Well, we've got that to think about. I hope you enjoyed Hat Chat today, and we've opened your mind to unsolved mysteries and eggs in particular. Yeah. If you have a musical mind and you can create a little fingle for us, I'd very much appreciate if you could send it to our email, hatchat@hat-filmed.com. Thank you very much. And also, big shout out.
Stories.
Oh, and stories. Yeah, we've had some funny news stories like today from Lucas. So thank you very much for that.
Thanks for sending them.
And a big thanks to, obviously, our Patreon supporters for keeping Hat Chat going every week. You get credit at the end of the YouTube video. I do ensure every week that I pull a fresh list from it in the credits. Should be up to date every week. So thank you to you guys. And we'll see you all next week. Enjoy the Fingal by Thomas.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Oh.